We need to capture target zones so that an attack route can be established to the next area.
What's going on, guys? This is the Brigade once again, and we're back at it with another session of Killzone Shadow Fall. Alright guys, so I don't know, just doing another video. You know, I really enjoy doing commentaries. You know, no matter what game I'm playing, you know, sometimes you go through your ups and downs. You know, sometimes you have a lot of highs, other times you may have a lot of lows, but at the end of the day, I really enjoy doing game commentaries. And, you know, I don't know what that might mean for my channel. Right? I don't know if that'll mean that I might branch off into other games, because for a lot of you guys who are familiar with my channel, you would know that I really consider myself to be a casual gamer. Now, I know a lot of people may have a lot of different definitions of gamer, right? Some people may have a definition that means, you know, a gamer is the type of person that plays a wide variety of games and completes them. You know, other people may say that a gamer is the type of person that just simply dedicates a lot of time to gaming. But, I mean, if that's the way you want to define it, I really consider myself to be casual, because I don't buy a lot of games, because most games these days do not hold my attention, right? They simply just do not keep my interest. But the ones that I do play, I play a shit ton, right? I've had Killzone Shadow Fall since the release, which is, I believe, like November 15th or mid-November of last year rather. And I swear I've consistently played this game like ever since, consistently. Now, this is not to say that I play it every single day, no, because I don't. But do I play often? I play Killzone Shadow Fall pretty often. Are there some highs? There are tons of highs. Are there lows? Yes, there are a lot of lows. But the fact that the highs and lows are balanced out is enough to keep my attention. Right? And the same could be said for games of the Soul series. For a lot of people who know me as, you know, from Dark Souls, the Souls franchise is one of those games that really kept my attention. And when I say franchise, I'm mainly talking about Demon Souls and Dark Souls. Now, I'm pretty sure for a lot of you guys that, you know, perhaps you're with me, perhaps you're watching this video because you're a subscriber, but you don't necessarily play this game. A lot of you guys may know that I'm really disappointed in Dark Souls 2. Right? And the fact of the matter is, you know, I know a lot of people are, you know, sending me messages saying, come on, dude, why don't you just do a video or two on Dark Souls 2? I understand it. I really want to, because I miss it. You know, I've been with you guys for so long to where, I mean, it really feels odd that I'm not doing any Dark Souls related videos. But the fact of the matter is, I simply don't enjoy Dark Souls 2. Right? And I would rather just not do any uploads at all than to do a half-assed upload, and you guys can even see in my commentaries that, you know what, this guy's heart is not even in it. Alright, so let me just go ahead and get back to the point. At the end of the day, I love doing commentaries. So I want to go ahead and start off this video by giving a thanks to the community. And, you know, obviously this is a Killzone game, so I'm talking about the Killzone community. There's a lot of guys out there. Well, there's a few guys. I can't really say a lot. There's a few guys that I know in particular that have been dedicated to making contributions and doing whatever they can to help to promote this game. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a formal shout out to some of those who may not be familiar to some of these guys. Maybe you guys may not be familiar with the channel. Perhaps it could be a guy brand new to Killzone Shadow Fall, and, you know, maybe you just like, holy shit, I stumbled on a new vid, right? Maybe you just stumbled on my vid by mistake. But whatever the situation, no matter what the case may be, I want to give a few guys a shout out, because I think they're doing some good things for the community. Because I really think that uploaders help to keep communities alive. Now, of course, this is not to say that, you know, in the absence of communities, gaming would be dead. No, I'm not saying that. That would be ridiculous to say that, because, I mean, gaming, as long as games have been here, you have always had communities. But you cannot deny the fact that uploaders have an impact on communities, right? May it be an impact as far as weapon selection, you know, depending upon what game you're talking about. May it be tactics, you know, may it be, you know, it just really depends on what type of game you're talking about. At the end of the day, you cannot deny the impact and influence that uploaders have on gaming, right? May it be to just simply to spark people's interest in whatever game they're playing. Because I know there's been a few games that I have purchased, not necessarily because I was particularly interested in it, but because whatever uploader I was watching, you know, they talked about it. It looked good, you know, when I watched their video, and I just purchased it, when in the absence of them, I probably wouldn't have even given that game a second thought. So, okay, let's just go ahead and get to the point. First guy is Delta. Delta has an awesome weapon showcase. Awesome. Now, keep in mind, all of these guys, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to their channels in the description box, because and for a lot of you guys who are new, I know a lot of you guys who have played Dark Souls, you guys may already know this about me, but me in particular, is not about me only and promoting my channel and getting ideas out for me as an individual. Once I find a game that I really like, I like to promote any other uploaders that, you know, putting forth good information, putting forth good commentary, or showing, I mean, just showcasing good footage for whatever game that, you know, we're playing. Delta has an awesome weapon showcase. He goes into really good detail. He offers good selection, good suggestions as far as loadouts is concerned. So, you know, if you guys are not familiar with Delta, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to his channel in the description box. And I'm pretty sure, especially if you guys are kind of new to the game, I'm pretty sure you guys will find a lot of useful information on his channel, because I have actually created a playlist of all of his videos, right? And, you know, in the event that you're just kind of interested, you don't really know his whole name, you don't know how to look for it, just go on to my main channel and look for playlist, and you will find a Delta's weapons playlist under my playlist, because I created it, and is basically a playlist of all of the videos that he has put together. All right, so enough about that. Next guy I want to go ahead and give a shout out to is good old Sean, right? Mesa Sean. He is a part of Justice for All clan, and he's actually put out a lot of good videos. Now I think he really started doing Killzone Shadow Fall recently, like, I don't know, maybe within the last month. But when I tell you they're good videos, they're definitely good videos. Now, they're not as long as mine, right? I know a lot of you guys, you know, you may have short attention spans. You may think to yourself, yo, the Brigade, dude, I mean, you're cool and all, but your videos are pretty long. Right? So for a lot of you guys who may think that my videos are pretty long, please go ahead and check out good old Sean's videos, because his videos are awesome. He put forth good information, and they're a little shorter than mine, right, as far as length is concerned. So they're, I don't know, somewhere around 10 to 12 minutes. You might find a few videos that are a little longer, but other than that, his videos are relatively short, but they are definitely short and sweet. Right, so once again, I'll put a link to all of these guys in the description box. Another guy I want to go ahead and give a shout out to is good old the Muffin Man. Right, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys may know him, either playing with him or against him. That guy is definitely a beast at Killzone Shadow Fall. Now, what does he do? He basically does a few like top 10s, Right, I'll go ahead and put a link to his channel in the description box. And if you guys have really caught some amazing footage and you want to go ahead and just kind of submit it and try to showcase it on his top 10s, I'm pretty sure you might make it on his list. Alrighty, I know he does a lot of good things. He also has a live stream. I'll put a link to his live stream on the description box. Now, I don't really know how often he live streams, but I usually catch his live streams on Sundays. I'm pretty sure he may live stream on days other than Sundays, but that's pretty much when I catch them. Right? And the last person I want to go ahead and give a shout out to is a Mythbusters guy. And he has basically put forth 3 Mythbusters videos. And those videos are awesome. Like, they're very informative. What he does is, like, he'll take a few claims, either by the community or by whatever individuals that he's been surrounding himself by. And he'll basically just put a myth to the test. Right? And, you know, either he will verify those myths to be true, or he'll let you know that those myths are false. Either way it go, please check out his channel. He has several videos on Killzone Shadow Fall, and I'm pretty sure you can find some good information on his channel. And his name is BrownSound5150. Now, a lot of you guys who may be playing Killzone Shadow Fall, perhaps you may have YouTube channels. You know, don't feel slighted if I didn't say your name. These are just guys that I have run into personally. You know, if there's some other guys out there you're promoting Killzone Shadow Fall, hey, go ahead, drop a link, either a link or a comment in the comment section. Hey, I mean, it's good information for all of us to check out. All right, so okay. I know I did enough ranting for, it looks like this is pretty much about half the video. Right? But that's definitely one thing that I like to do. Go ahead and give a few people some exposure. Now, keep in mind, I don't have the largest channel, and I don't have the largest following. But any person out there that's putting forth good information who I can, basically send recommendations to, hey, I'll do it. Why not? Right? Because it's not only about me. My focus has always been, no matter what game that I'm playing, promoting whoever's out there making contributions to whatever community from the game that we're playing. All right, now, another thing that I want to talk about. Should there be another Killzone game? What suggestions would I personally make? Now, I have played Killzone 2, Killzone 3, obviously Killzone Shadow Fall. And after playing all of those games, Killzone Shadow Fall is really cool. I enjoy it. I play the game all the time. But there's definitely some things about Killzone 2 and Killzone 3 that is missing in Killzone Shadow Fall and would really make it complete if they had certain elements. Right? So seeing that there are some things that I wish they would have maintained in Killzone that really makes this game a Killzone game, I'll just go ahead and make a few suggestions. Should there be another Killzone game, for which I really hope there will be another Killzone game. I really love this franchise. I've pretty much been loyal to it ever since the release of Killzone 2. Right? And I know a lot of people, they may dislike changes. They may say, oh, you're making all these changes, we don't like the game. But, I mean, the way I see it, installments should be changes. Right? Because, in other words, you don't want this franchise to basically become another Call of Duty, where it's basically the same game, but only new maps and maybe 1 or 2 new weapons, or maybe even a few more weapons. But basically, it's a carbon copy of the previous installments. You don't really want that. Now, I don't really have a list in front of me. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, and keep in mind, I've been drinking a little bit, right? So if I get the stuttering or if I get the ranting, please forgive me. This is basically Drunk Zone Shadow Fall. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about spawning. Should there be another Killzone game? One thing that I would do is copy the spawning system of both Killzone 2 and Killzone Shadow Fall. Now, what exactly do I mean? Number one, there will be squads like we had in Killzone 2. And in those squads, you could actually spawn in on the squad leader. Now, this was basically the fail-safe method. So if you're lazy, don't want to go ahead and use a spawn beacon. If you're new to the franchise, don't really know what the hell is going on, you just, run, gun, and shoot. You don't really know anything else. It's basically a failsafe. Because in Killzone 2, you can throw out spawn beacons or, spawn grenades, whatever you want to call them, as a tactician. And you can also spawn in on your squad leader. I think that's a good idea. So in other words, you satisfy two objectives. Number one, for the people who are lazy and they just want to go ahead and keep up with where their squad leader is going. And number two, you're still satisfying the point of having the players show initiative by throwing out spawn beacons. Now, would I have the spawn grenades? I wouldn't have the spawn grenades like we had in Killzone 2. I would maintain spawn beacons like we have in Killzone Shadow Fall, but I would have the squad type system to where you can actually spawn in on your squad leader. Okay, so that's spawning. One thing that is really, really, really missing in Killzone Shadow Fall, in my personal opinion, that really makes this a Killzone game is the fact that we have no propaganda speakers. We have 0 propaganda speakers. For any of you guys who are Killzone Shadow Fall, Killzone 2, well actually not even Killzone Shadow Fall, any of you guys who are Killzone 2 or Killzone 3 fans, maybe even Killzone 1, I've never played Killzone 1, but I do know in particular Killzone 2 and Killzone 3. If you guys are fans of those games, you would know that one thing that really makes this a Killzone game is the fact that we had propaganda. And the capture and hold and the beacon missions, where you had to go ahead, I don't really want to say beacon theft, but it's similar to beacon retrieval, to where there's a beacon just randomly placed and you have to go take it on the opposing faction's side. Like, it was basically a propaganda speaker, and those things were cool. And I'll play a little clips of propaganda in the background. And for some of you guys who are familiar with Killzone 2, Killzone 3, it will be a very familiar sound. For a lot of you guys who are new, you may say, "Holy crap! Like, what in the world is that?" So I would add that. I would also return with the assassination mode. Instead of having this, beacon safeguard, I don't know why they sold us out with that. Like, dude, we have had assassination mode in both Killzones 2 and Killzones 3. Why would they sell us out with beacon safeguard? Like, really? Okay, whatever. Another thing that I would do, the scoreboard that we have, that they just recently changed and they updated to where you can show both factions' wins, losses, well actually not wins, losses, kills, deaths, and maybe even assists, kind of like the final scoreboard in Killzone 3. I would keep that, right? Because I think that's one thing we should have had in the beginning of this game. I would have that because I think it's kind of good to see kind of like where you're placed, right? Because I remember before they came up with the new scoreboard, I would see guys with like 100 kills, and I'll be thinking to myself like, holy shit, that guy's like God. But obviously you don't know how many times that guy's died, right? But when you have the scoreboard, it kind of gives you, an idea as to how good or bad a person is playing, and not even how bad or how good or bad a person is playing, but also how good or bad you're playing, right? Because it kind of gives you an idea as to not only your own gameplay, but how you fare relative to your team and even the opposition for that matter. So that as well. So we've already talked about spawn beacons. We've talked about propaganda speakers, which really make that a Killzone game. And like I said before, I'm going to put some clips in the background, and you guys may hear it echoing, but those are just a reminder of how awesome this game. I mean, it really puts you in the zone, in my personal opinion. Let's see, what else would I do? I would mix it up with small and larger maps, right? Because I know a lot of guys complain that there are smaller maps on Killzone Shadow Fall, for which I'm personally fine with. But just to satisfy everybody, I would create some larger maps, some maps similar to the size and scale of Killzone 2, because Killzone 2, we have some large maps. And I would keep some smaller maps, or what you might consider to be smaller, like we have here on Killzone Shadow Fall. But despite that, I think the maps on this game are absolutely beautiful. They're colorful. Well, actually, let me take that back. Another thing that I would go ahead and mix up. Yes, they do have colorful maps on here. They have a lot of detail. The contrast, the color palettes, everything is cool. I understand that they really wanted to make this game kind of bright because they wanted to showcase the potential of the PS4. But at the end of the day, Killzones 2 and Killzones 3, dude, we have some gritty maps, right? Especially on Killzone 2. I would kind of mix it up with some of the colorful maps, but also some of those throwback maps that are nice and grimy and dirty and reminded you that you were playing in a war zone, right? Not just some type of utopia that looks beautiful, but you're basically destroying it. Nah, I would just go ahead and return with some of those grimy looking maps. Now, one thing that I would add is some destructible environments. I think some of the environment, because that's one thing about Bad Company 2 and some of these other games. I would have some of these environments to be destructible. Right now, I'm not saying every single thing would be destructible, but there should be certain things that if I throw a grenade or if I hit, some type of explosion or whatever the case may be, I think like something should blow up. Now, there are some parts, in like, let's just say the slums that may break apart, but for the most part, nothing is really blowing up. Now, I'm not saying you'll be tearing buildings down or, maybe in one or two maps you would have the ability to kind of tear some things down, but I think that would be cool. Let's see. I would have some in-placed weapons, kind of like what we had in Killzone 3. I think those were cool. The jetpacks, I think those were cool. I really think Killzone 3 was cool. I really don't know why a lot of people complain about Killzone 3, but Killzone 3 was the bomb in my personal opinion. So let's see. We talked about spawning. Now, I didn't really play the single player, but I will say Killzone 2 had an awesome single player. I've heard a lot of people complain that the single player on Killzone Shadow Fall is not really all that impressive. I think the storyline of Killzone 2 was awesome, superior in my personal opinion. The story of Killzone 3 was cool. I played through the whole story, but once I got Killzone Shadow Fall, and maybe it's because I played Killzone 2 and 3, I wasn't really interested in the story. I just wanted to go ahead and dive straight into the multiplayer. Like, it just really never sparked my interest. So I never played, even to this day. And like I said before, I've had this game since release. I haven't even touched single player, Now, I know some of you guys may have seen some of my montages. And whatever segments of the single player that you guys may have seen, please keep in mind that I've only played the single player to the extent to get those clips, and that's it. Right? I think I've gotten no further than like the second or third board on Killzone Shadow Fall story mode, and that's only because, like I said before, this is just one of those games where I like to go straight to the multiplayer. Alright, so as far as weapon balancing, whoever was in charge of weapon balancing in this game, please keep that individual or that staff in future Killzone games. In my personal opinion, this game was totally balanced. Now, did there need to be some minor adjustments? Yeah, and the examples that I'll continuously give is the Stova and the Camarad. aside from the stove and the camarade, I think whoever was in charge of weapon balancing, keep them on your staff. Like, keep them online, like every single individual. Whoever was in charge of that, keep them on your staff should there be another Killzone game. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. And even if there are more things, unfortunately, we're running out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was kind of a long rant, but hey, I love this game. Can't stop the commentaries. So hey, until next time, Martyrs Brigade is out.